Yep. It's putting the whole package together. Perfecting the craft is the most, important thing, because anybody can go out there, anyone can sing and dance. It's what really you put into it and how you really season, yourself, and to make it into a career, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about your education and your experience and your background and how you got here, how you got onto cruise ships.
Well, it's quite a story. I'm born and raised in New York. Lived my whole life in Long Island. Long Island. Don't let my accent
One
throw you
guy.
off. WF. Um, and I went to school and I went to college and I was going for communications, and I really was just kind of going through the motion. Really told you have to go to school, you have to get a degree, this, that, and that. But my dreams and aspirations were to be a performer. So what I did, I worked for a DJ company when I was 15 years old, and that's how I learned how to dance. That's really how I got my dance. My family is very musical. I've got rhythm, but I used to do these shows. We used to put on these hip hop shows and performance shows, and we'd have to rehearse, once a week, and the rehearsals were intense. And that's really where I got my training. But then, because I've always wanted to sing and I was always too shy to, my teacher was the radio. I would listen to the radio. I would listen to what I would see on MTV. I would watch it constantly, and I could mimic everything that I would hear. So I would practice runs and riffs and falsetto and basically everything to sing. And I some people are natural singers. I guess I was a natural singer. My down the line, my music teacher always told me, you're lucky you have a good ear, because you can't read music for anything. I agree with him on that. But I had a good ear, and I was able to listen to myself and kind of teach myself. Once I started doing that and I started singing it, I would get hired for Sweet 16s, bar and bat mitzvahs to do, Backstreet Boy and sing songs and whatnot. I really started auditioning professionally, and that's when I started taking voice classes and, really getting serious and perfecting my craft. So when cruise ships came along, I had already been working for a couple of years. I've done a few off-Broadways. I was on reality television, which a show with Debbie Allen, which is how I kind of got my start, really, into the industry. But anyway, I submitted for a website that I didn't even realize that I was submitting for. I had my videos and my resume, and everything was on this website. And the next thing I know, I get a call from Princess Cruises, from PGT, Peter Great Dragoon, which is the company where you and I worked for. And I was offered my first contract out of Europe. And who am I to turn down a free trip to Europe to sing and dance? What, are you crazy? I said, I'm going to do one contract, one and done. And I wound up falling so in love with it, it became a 12-year career.
Yeah, I love it.
So,
I have to, oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so that's basically the Cliff Notes.
Well, then if that's the Cliff's Notes, then I want to ask you some questions about something that you just brought up. Totally was not in the question lineup that I sent to you, but I love the idea that you got to start very different from a lot of people, but it's kind of an iconic way to get a start. A lot of the people that I've interviewed so far, we all did the thing. We, learned how to read music and got the degree and finally got up the courage to take some auditions. And oh yeah, I have to have a headshot. Oh, I have to build a resume. I didn't learn that in school. So a lot of these things that you go to school for, you have to you don't use that too much once you really get into it.
And let me,
huh?
It's really scary because I would go to auditions carrying like a little 5x10, like just a little candid photo, and I would pass that as a headshot because I didn't know what a headshot was.
Yeah. We're not told those things until you really like kind of pound the pavement, and then you're like, oh, I didn't know I had to do that. Okay, I guess I should go do that. When you see other people because you've done New York auditions, you go and you sit in this cattle call audition, and there's a bunch of people with their headshot and their resume on the back of the headshot, and it's all professionally done, and you're like, I don't have that. Okay.
And not for nothing, true story. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions, because in this life, you're only going to get ahead if you ask, and especially if you have no idea. I have no problem walking up to people like, "What is that? Where did you get that? How do I get those?"
Yep.
You might feel stupid, but you know what? If I never see you again, I felt stupid in front of a stranger, but I also don't know. I need to know these things. So ask the questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. I would never have known if I hadn't done that.
Right, exactly. You know, you've gotta ask questions. And like you said, there's no such thing as a stupid question. If you don't know, you don't know. That's okay. It's okay to not know something. We all don't know a lot of things.
It's true. No one's perfect.
No one's perfect. We all, I still don't know everything. Every time I do an interview with somebody, I learn something fascinating and new, and I get these aha moments. And I love hearing these stories because there's so much out there in the world of performing that you just kind of don't take into consideration. And everyone takes a different path to get there, right?
It's so true. It's so, so true.